Alright, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and as you can see, sneak peek number 2 is here for the August update. It's definitely not what I was expecting. Truthfully speaking, I was hoping they would follow up with some additional information about the trailer that we saw yesterday with Cable and Strife. I thought we were going to get a continuation of that, kind of like what we got with Malekith and Enchantress in the previous update, where their sneak peek tied into Odin getting his tier 4. However, they decided to go back to the old formula of just announcing a transcended character via this, I don't even know what you call this. I guess this is right now the generic way to announce a new uniform, a new character, because we've seen this thing at least 20 times now. Anyways, I'm excited for Domino. She's getting Transcendence. Hopefully that means she's going to be transcended alongside Phantom X, because they both came to the game together. And hopefully, I'm saying hope too much here, but all we have right now are hopes and dreams, guys. Hopefully Phantom X gets touched this time, because last time Domino got a uniform and he got nothing. It would be quite sad for her to get another uniform and Transcendence and him get nothing but a Transcendence. Now, over here on the forums, this is what they had to say. Now, it's not much. It just says the mutant who always has luck on her side is back in missions as a mercenary, the lucky assassin. Check out the new looks and abilities of the mutant who has incredible luck. Truthfully, this should have been a twofer, this sneak peek. Not as hype, and I feel like this character is not going to get a lot of love from the player base unless they do something extraordinary for her, like making her a support character like they did for Enchantress and Mysterio. But when you look at the characters that we have currently, especially speed characters, speed female characters, we have quite a few support characters in that category. Off the top of my head, Wave, Shuri, White Fox, all speed females. So another speed female, I don't know if that's gonna be enough for people to go out of their way to build her, but I think the only way they're gonna get people to, well, not the only way, come on now, the uniform looks good, like visuals, it's there, so people are gonna simp regardless. If they make her a great DPS like Malekith, and Mysterio is a really good DPS too, like even though most people are gonna build him as a support, if they make her a great DPS and the uniform looks good, obviously it's gonna sell. Truthfully speaking though, not a lot of people build Domino, because the build I have for her is so bad and I'm in the top 500, which is actually kind of crazy. Might be because I have the gears done, because I have all of my mutants at gear 25, so this is actually a pretty good update in terms of giving mutants that are trapped at tier 2, tier 3s. So we already have one for Strife and Domino. That's great. Well, not tier 3 for Domino, but an upgrade for Domino to put her at the level where she should be, because majority of the characters in the game right now should be at tier 3 at the very least, since tier 4 is the new level of power. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Here's to hoping that my guy Phantom X doesn't get left behind. It's actually crazy how more people have Phantom X built than Domino. I think maybe it's because I don't have anything on him, because I stripped all of his ooze way back when he was free to do so. Honestly, when I seen Domino announce on Twitter, I immediately, somebody already built her up, because I was at 487, now I'm at 488. I immediately thought of Deadpool. So we might see a tier 4 Deadpool mid-month. Some of you guys are saying we could see a tier 4 Rogue mid-month. Anything is possible, truthfully speaking, because right now it looks like it's going to be a full mutant update. Now, generally for mid-months, when it comes to mutant updates, they deviate from mutants. So I would be very surprised if we get the main update as mutants and the mid-month update or updates as mutant as well, because we haven't seen that in a while. I don't think we've seen them do like back-to-back mutant updates, like main update mutant and then mid-month update mutant, since I would say Hellfire Gala. Comment down below, guys. I'm getting old, you know what I'm saying? Old man beast in the building, Papa Beast. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I also see people already complaining that this update is not free to play friendly because Strife and Cable, and I'm just thinking to myself, what are y'all talking about, bro? That's like saying uniforms are not free to play friendly because you have to spend crystals. I know y'all don't want to go buy Betsy, right? You don't want to buy Psylocke, but it is what it is. If you want Strife, which I don't necessarily think you are going to need him, because he's only going to be a tier 3, and unless he is better than Gore by a substantial margin, but even then, since he's a blast character, keep that in mind, he's a blast character, he's probably going to get easily one-tapped by a character that pretty much everybody already has. That's Spider-Man. Even if Strife becomes becomes better than Gore. You may not need him, truthfully speaking. And here's the thing, we just saw a big flop in a tier 3 native that was built for PvP. I don't want to like curse Strife, but I'm saying to the people who are already complaining that this update is not free to play friendly, truthfully speaking, when it comes to mutant updates, generally they're heavy in favor of like paid players. But if you look at the characters announced so far, everyone is already accessible as a free-to-play player. Granted, you need to play for a little while, save up some crystals, buy Betsy, and then do the epic quest to get Strife, but all of that can be done without spending any money, and that's better than most mutant updates, okay? That's better than most mutant updates. You don't have to go buy a a monthly X gene selector or nothing crazy like that. You just have to save your crystals and you'll be fine. Like, even on my free-to-play account, I have a whole bunch of crystals because I don't buy every uniform, because to where the game is right now, you don't need every uniform. Just make some sacrifices, you know what I'm saying? So before you guys start complaining about Strife and the fact that you don't have them, you may not need them. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, moving back to Domino, I think Domino has a really good kit, so I'm excited to see where they go with her. Like, look at her tier 2 passive. This is arguably one of the best tier 2 passives in the game, and this was given to her years ago. And then on top of that, she gives herself even more dodge here for a 4-star passive. This is actually pretty amazing. Her leadership is also really good. Most people don't use it because we prioritize attack leads, but 45% ignore dodge and 8% critical rate is really good. I think what she needs in her kit, truthfully, is a heal. She does not have one. If they were gonna make her a support character, I honestly think they should try to do something unique with her. Since she's a luck-based character, I wouldn't be opposed to her support passive being luck-based as well and not be guaranteed. Like, let me just give you guys an example. So you guys can let me know if it sounds stupid in the comments, right? So right here it says applies to all allies, and then you get the 55% extra damage to villains and the 40% damage reduction, right? Okay, so what if in the case of Domino, she had something similar, but there was a 50% chance of it activating? However, instead of her just getting the generic extra damage to villains, extra damage to heroes, I think what they should do, truthfully speaking, I don't know why they haven't done this yet, because arguably this tier 2 passive is one of the most useful things in the game, and they should try to put it on at least one character in every class. So give it to a speed character and give it to a universal, give it to a combat. And what I'm talking about is the Wasp tier 2 passive is amazing, especially now with Otherworld Arena. This debuff removal is so clutch, and it would be really nice to see on other characters in other categories or other classes. I know we already have it on Morgan Le Fay as a part of her uniform bonus, which is pretty good, but it only applies to universal characters. So it would give Domino a lot of long-term staying power if she had debuff removal in her kit. But another idea that I had when I was thinking about Domino and how they could make her unique, because she is a pretty unique character because her whole superpower is based on being lucky. How cool would it be if they took a couple different passives from a couple different characters and put it as a part of Domino's uniform bonus or as a part of her new passive? But I don't like the idea of them touching her current tier 2 passive, so I would say put it on her uniform. So let's say, for example, they take this 35% reflect, put it on her uniform bonus, take that debuff removal from Wasp and put it on her uniform bonus, and then maybe like damage reduction, since there's very few characters in the game that give you damage reduction, especially in the speed category. There's only really Shuri, but it would be cool if they took like Colossus's 4-star passive and add that onto Domino's uniform bonus. However, hear me out now, you don't get all of this at the exact same time. Since Domino is all about luck and just being completely random, how cool would it be if when Domino is on your team, randomly throughout the fight, one or more of these effects will activate? That would be really cool. So you have a chance of getting either reflect, you have a chance of getting damage reduction, you have a chance of getting debuff removal, you have a chance of getting extra damage to superheroes or supervillains. Something like that would be really, really cool, since the character is just all about being lucky. It would be maybe too random for some people, but I think it would be pretty cool considering that Domino is all about just being really lucky, and you can't really control your luck in some cases. I guess in her case, she can kind of control her luck since it's a superhero, but for other characters just benefiting from her being lucky, it would be kind of cool.